So we'll start with the classification of animals. Here you can see a flow chart in which the kingdom is given, then the level of organization is given, symmetry is given, and body cavity is given, and the phylums are here. Okay, so this is an outline of the entire classification of animals. So we'll start with the classification of animal and what are the basic characteristics feature of Animalia. So all animals belonging to kingdom Animalia are multicellular eukaryotes. Okay, so these are multicellular as well as they are eukaryotic organisms. They have heterotrophic mode of nutrition. That means they are not able to prepare their own food as plants, but they are having a different mode of nutrition, that is heterotrophic. They depend on other for their nutrition. Almost all animals are mobile. Okay, mobile means they are having motility, they can move, and they move about in search of food and for other needs, except for sponges and corals. They are sedentary, or they are located at particular environment. Okay, but mostly all the animals in the kingdom Animalia are motile or mobile. They are sedentary. Okay, and it is the most diverse group than the plant kingdom. Now we'll start with the first phylum, that is Porifera, and it is a very simple phylum. Now these Porifera are commonly known as sponge. They are generally marine and mostly asymmetrical animals. Okay, so symmetry will be present in some cases, but mostly these animals will be asymmetrical. That means they cannot be divided into two equal halves in any plane, and they are generally marine. These are primitive multicellular animals and have cellular level of organization. Okay, they are multicellular animals and they are having cellular level of organization, means the cell aggregates in them will do all the essential functions which are required for the Porifera to survive in the environment. Now the sponges have a water transport or a canal system. This is a very important point, and you have to remember this, that sponges have a water transport or the canal system. Water will enter through minute pores, ostia, in the body wall into a central cavity which is called spongocoel, from where it goes out through the osculum. Okay, we'll see the diagram later, but you have to, as these sponges are having a water transport or a canal system, so in them water will enter through minute pores which are called ostia in the body wall, and they will reach a central cavity, that is spongocoel, and it will go out, all the water will go out from a cavity, that is osculum. This pathway of water transport is helpful in food gathering, okay, respiratory exchange and removal of waste. So the water transport of the canal system is necessary and it is helpful in food gathering, respiratory exchange and removal of waste for the Porifera. Now certain cells are present which make the structure of these Porifera or cell aggregates, and these cells are called choanocytes or collar cells line. Okay, and the digestion is intracellular, means digestion will take place inside the cell itself. You can see the three examples here in the diagram. The first one is the cycon. Okay, the second one is the euspongia, and the third one is the spongilla. Okay, now the body is supported by a skeleton which is made up of spicules. These sexes are not separate, means they are hermaphrodite, means they are bisexual animals, and eggs and sperms are produced in the same individual. That means they are bisexual animals. Now these sponges produce asexually by fragmentation and sexually by formation of gametes. Fertilization will be internal, that means it will take place inside the body. Development is indirect, means the larval stage and the adult stage will be very different from each other, and when the larval stage will move towards the adult stage to acquire the adult stage, that process is called metamorphosis. Examples are cycon, scypha, spongilla, euspongia, and the bracket name are their common names. Okay, so we talked about the basic water canal system. So you can see that this is the body cavity. So these are the small pores which you will see, which you can see in the diagram, are the ostia. Okay, now water will enter through these pores. This is the cavity, which is this is the cavity, okay, middle cavity, which is the spongocoel, this whole cavity, and this is the large opening, which is the osculum, from where the water will go out. So water will enter through these pores. It will be present here in this cavity, and these cells at the boundary are the choanocyte or the collar cells. These will absorb all the mineral nutrition, and now the water will move in this direction. Okay, so this is the water canal system, which will help in many essential functions for the porifera to survive. Okay, so these cells which are present here, these cells, the aggregation of cells which are making the pores, okay, these are nothing but these are the choanocytes. Okay, so once again we'll see the basic characteristics of the phylum Porifera. They are commonly known as sponge. They are generally marine and mostly asymmetrical animals. These are primitive multicellular animals and have cellular level of organization. They have a water transport or a canal system. Water will enter through minute pores, which is ostia, in the body wall, and then the water will be there in the spongocoel, where the food gathering, respiratory exchange and removal of waste will occur in the water, which is filled in the spongocoel, and then it will go out through the osculum. Okay, so the choanocytes are the collar cells lines are the sponge making the spongocoel or the canal. Digestion is intracellular. The body is supported by a skeleton which is made up of spicules. Okay, here also you have to remember this. The body of the porifera are made up of spicules or spongin fibers, and they are hermaphrodite, means bisexual animals. Fertilization is internal, and when these organisms reproduce asexually, they will be doing fragmentation, which is a mode of asexual reproduction. Development is indirect, that means the larval stage, which is morphologically distinct from the adult, and the examples are cycon, spongilla, euspongia, and here you have to remember examples of every phyla with 2 to 3 examples, okay, and common name also. So now after porifera we move to the next phylum, that is Coelenterata or Cnidaria. Okay, your C is silent, so it is called Cnidaria or Coelenterata. So these are the aquatic animals, and mostly they are marine. They are sessile or free swimming, okay, or free living. You can say that you will see 2 stages in the Cnidaria. One stage of one particular group of animals will be sessile, that is they will be attached to the substratum, and the second one will be the free swimming, that is you have seen jellyfish. Okay, so jellyfish is an example of these Coelenterata, so it can move easily in the water. These animals are radially symmetrical. Now what does that mean? When you divide this animal from any plane, you will get 2 equal halves. So this kind of symmetry is called the radial symmetry. Now the name Cnidaria is derived from the cnidoblasts or the cnidocytes. Okay, so cnidoblasts and cnidocytes are the stinging cells or stinging capsules, and they are called nematocytes, and they are present in the tentacles of these organisms. See, when you see this organism here, this is the tentacle part or the stinging tentacle stinging cell. Now these nematocytes or the poisonous cell will be present in this tentacle, which will help the animal for anchorage, okay, defense, and for capture of prey. Okay, now cnidoblasts are used for anchorage, defense, and for capture of prey. Now in these animals you can see tissue level of organization, and they are diploblastic, means they are having 2 blast layers, ectoderm and endoderm, and they are having undifferentiated mesoglia. They have a central gastrovascular cavity with a single opening, that is called hypostome. Now digestion is extracellular and intracellular both. The digestion will occur inside the cell and internal to the cell. Now corals have a skeleton composed of calcium carbonate, okay, and they exhibit two basic body forms, that is polyp and medusa. Okay. So polyp form of these animals is sessile and cylindrical, and Hydra and Admetia are the example. Okay. Now medusa is umbrella shaped and free living, and the scientific name is Aurelia or jellyfish. Now these cnidarians which exist in both forms will exhibit alternation of generation. Okay. Now some forms will have polyp form in particular time period, and the others will have the medusa form in the particular lifespan. So they will have alternation of generation, as we have seen in the 3rd chapter. Okay. So this alternation of generation in cnidarians is called metagenesis. That is, the polyp will produce medusa asexually and medusa form the polyps sexually. Okay. Once again, in the lifespan of these cnidarians, there will be alternation of generation, that is metagenesis. So the polyp, which is the sessile and the cylindrical form like Hydra, will produce medusa asexually, and medusa will form polyps sexually. Example is Ubelia. Okay. Now examples are Physalia, Admetia, Pennatula, Gorgonia and Meandrina. As you can see in the diagram, Aurelia is nothing but the jellyfish. Physalia you can see here. Admetia is the Hydra, the flower looking things you see when you visit Discovery or other channels inside the sea. Okay, these are flower looking things which are called Hydra, and the scientific name is Admetia. Now this is the Pennatula. Next, and other example is the sea fan. Okay, so once again we'll see the basic characteristics of this cnidarians. Okay, they are aquatic and mostly marine. They can be sessile, as we have seen the polyp one, and the free swimming, that is the medusa. Now these are the radially symmetrical animals. The name cnidaria is derived from the cnidoblast or the cnidocytes. Okay, so there is a presence of specific thing in cnidaria, and from there only the name is derived, that is cnidoblast and cnidocyte. Now these are nothing but the stinging capsules or nematocyte which are present in the tentacles of the body. Okay, cnidoblasts are used for anchorage, defense and for capture of prey. Now they are having tissue level of organization, means the cell will aggregate and form tissues. They are diploblastic, having 3 germ layers, but the middle germ layer, that is mesoderm, is not well differentiated and it is called mesoglia. Now they are having a centrogastrovascular cavity with a single opening, that is hypostome. So you can say that the digestive system here is incomplete. That means it is having only one opening. Digestion is extracellular and intracellular both. So digestion will take place inside the cell and in the cavity which is made by the cells. Now corals have a skeleton composed of calcium carbonate. Okay, so the corals in this cnidaria will have the skeleton which is made up of calcium carbonate, and they exhibit 2 basic body forms, that is polyp and medusa. Okay, now this is the basic structure of the cnidarians. You can see here the tentacles. Okay, so this cavity will be inside, this structure will be, this structure you can see here will be inside this cavity, and when the animal wants to use the tentacle, it will move upwards with the help of the fibers and other things present in the body of these animals. Okay, now polyp is a sessile and cylindrical form like Hydra. Okay, medusa is umbrella shaped which is free living like Aurelia or jellyfish. Now they can exhibit alternation of generation, that is metagenesis. Now polyp will produce medusa asexually and medusa form the polyp sexually. So here you have to remember that polyp will produce medusa asexually and medusa will form polyp how? Sexually. Okay, example are given, and the examples are Physalia, Admetia, Pennatula, Gorgonia and Meandrina. You can see the diagram, you can see the pictures in the diagrams given here. Okay, so this was the 2 phylum which is Porifera and the Cnidaria. Okay.